Hi, this is Erin Harrison coming to you from the Los Angeles Convention Center at IT Expo, our 20th IT Expo. We're here today with Dan York, Director of Conversations at Voxeo. Thanks for joining us, Dan.
Glad to be here again.
So tell us what's been happening with Voxeo since we last saw you in Miami.
Sure. So a large part of what's happened since Miami is that we've really started to talk about communications in more than just voice. Voxeo for 10 years, this is our 10th-year anniversary really, has been provided a hosted platform for people to develop voice applications, which could be anything from large-scale IVR solutions to outbound notification to conferencing solutions, lots of different things our partners use us from. But what we've looked at is that if we look at a couple things that are happening with the dynamics of consumers, the demographics, we're seeing a younger generation especially that is not using voice as much.
Right.
And they're using Facebook, they're using SMS, they're using, instant messaging, all of that. So we've looked at how do we help our customers, how do we help folks move beyond voice and unlock the communication potential of all these other channels.
Okay.
So we've looked at how do you make an application, develop it once, create that application, and have it interact with people both in voice, in a traditional kind of environment, but also in instant messaging, in SMS, in Twitter, in instant messaging of all different networks. So how do you develop that kind of application? And that's what we've delivered. We actually just announced that recently, and we're letting people go and develop those kind of applications.
Okay, great. Is there anyone in particular while you're at IT Expo that you're hoping to meet this year?
We're meeting a number of our customers. I was just on a panel with one of ours earlier. We're talking to some of the folks who are looking at, how do they do this? How do they make this move? How do they go and help people move into a we call it multimodal, multi-channel, whatever it is. It's enabling people to interact with you, with your company in whatever form they want.
Okay.
Because one of the challenges is customers are now in charge, really. They want to interact in different ways. They want to use that live chat, the web chat on your text screen to be able to interact with you. So how do you enable customers to go and interact with you in whatever means they want to, but simultaneously not incurring more development costs on your end? How do you get the ROI of developing it once, deploying it across all these channels?
Right, that brings up a good point. With cost savings top of mind for IT decision makers, what is Voxeo doing to adjust to the times?
Well, a lot of what we're doing is we're actually kind of somewhat of a beneficiary of a lot of this because people are looking at automation. They're looking at how do they help automate their self-service interaction? How do they help people go in and do that? And some of it's through kind of the traditional voice aspect. You call into an IVR system, you call in some kind of element like that. But also some of it is how do you interact with these other channels? If you look at the ROI of having a human agent answering every phone call, or you have a human agent who is interacting with chat sessions. A human agent can potentially have 2 to 10 times more interactions going on with customers through chat than they can through being on the phone. So all of a sudden, if you can enable people to work that way, depending on the complexity of the interaction.
Right.
But if you're sitting there and you say, well, somebody, can you go check the serial number of this, or can you go unplug this? Okay. If you're on the phone, you got to wait for the person. If you're in chat, you could be interacting with somebody else.
Right.
So you look at that kind of return on investment you're getting from being able to have that many more interactions happening. So we're enabling people to be more efficient, to scale more, to be able to service their customers. In the end, the customers win.
Okay, and talk to us a little bit about return on investment and what your customers can expect.
Well, like I said, if they're looking at how to move beyond voice and providing these other channels, like in chat, it could be 2 to 10 times, depending on how many different chats an agent can be able to handle. The other aspect is that if you start to use something like, say, Twitter, some people are starting to look at how to use Twitter for customer service. And so they're setting up a Twitter account, people are being able, sending them messages, and they're interacting with that, in some cases, as a support channel. Well, so how do you scale that? How do you grow that?
Right.
If you have, do you hire a bunch of people to do your Twitter account, or do you do something like what we've offered, where you can have an automated agent that goes and interacts with people through Twitter when your human agents aren't available? The interesting aspect about that is with some of this automation of the real-time text, IM, SMS, Twitter, etc., you've got a neat capability where you can augment human agents, not replace them, but augment in the sense that if you think about it, if you're sending a text interaction, very often it's, what's your account number, what version of the operating system are you using, what product are you using? All that stuff's kind of the same. But what you can do is you could have an automated agent that could be looking at the incoming messages saying, is that information here? If not, it can reply back and gather that information so that when the human agent is able to go and look at all that interaction, they've got all the data they need. So you're augmenting the humans, allowing people to be able to go and respond to the customer quicker because they've already gathered all the information they need. So it's that. It's helping people scale, helping people get a better return on their customer interactions.
So looking ahead, what are we going to see next from Voxeo?
Well, we're going to continue to do the same kind of expansion, provide more channels, more performance, more capabilities. Ultimately, we're looking to enable people to scale their customer interactions and to really unlock the potential of their capabilities and their interactions with their customers. So that's what we're about, unlock communications.
Great. Okay, thanks, Dan. We've been talking to Dan York from Voxeo. I'm Erin Harrison for TMC at IT Expo.